Hola a todos! Today I want to give you some tips for time management by showing you how I'm organizing my to-do list. I am going to show you this with todoListo, of course, but you don't have to use todoListo for this kind of procedure. I've been working with a normal note-taking tool for years, and that has worked pretty well. Of course, todoListo has a few more comfortable features to do this, but it's absolutely not necessary. So this is really more about the process, how you can get organized. So this is a real to-do list. This is why most of this is in German. Sorry, I did not translate it because, it's my list. I just switched the language so you can at least see the dates. You don't have to understand that list. It's not about what's really on this list. It's more about the process, how I get organized. So this is a pretty normal list for me. When I look at this, it's about 140 tasks. This is a normal number for me. Of course, counting tasks is a bit of a weird thing because tasks can be very different in size. Some may take 2 hours, some may take 10 minutes, some may take 3 days or expand into more tasks that in some will take 3 days. So this is not really a very good measurement, but it's a kind of orientation. So I see whether everything is fine or whether I should start to say no a bit more often. So one thing that is typical for me is that I start with the temporal dimension. So I want to know when I'm doing what, especially in the time that is just upcoming. So this is a week just starting on a Monday. And so I have a little section for each day of the week. So in todoListo, we have this concept of sections. If you're using a note-taking tool, just do a little heading or insert a date if your tool allows this. So we have something for each day. And you see, this week is pretty full. So I basically planned something for every single day. This is probably even too much, but that's the reality. Then there's a vacation week, and then the week after that is also kind of expanded into single days. This is not yet fully filled, which is good, because I don't know yet which of those tasks from this week I will have done. So I should leave some space. So I should not plan every day for the next 10 weeks. But sometimes it's good to have the week after this also very granular, because sometimes you have meetings that occur every week and you want to move them over to the next week. So this is kind of practical. And after that, I'm going into weeks, not days. So here I have the next few weeks of September. So, this was back in September. It's now November. So this is an old list. So these were those days and weeks in September. And again, you see the weeks that are closer to now have more tasks, and the more I get into the future, you will have fewer tasks. And this is good. And then I switch to month in this case. Since this is the end of the year, it's month and then next year. But for example, for next year, the upcoming year for 2024, I have the first 3 months as month blocks, and then I go into quarters. So it's not really fixed what kind of chunks you have. The important thing is just that closer to now should be smaller chunks, and the more you get into the future, the more the bigger your blocks should be. I usually don't go below days. Sometimes I have morning and afternoon, but that is very rare. So let's go back to the task. So it's Monday morning. If I've done my homework on Friday, my list will look something like this. So pretty clean. 6 tasks. That doesn't sound too much for a day. It will be too much, but okay. And usually I go through this list, read my 6 tasks, see what I have to do. And sometimes I will switch the order maybe. So depending on which mood I'm in, or maybe something has come up over the weekend, so I might reprioritize, I might change the order. In this case, I might just start with the first task, which is something, in this case I see it with this little symbol, with this book symbol here, is something a bit of research. And you see, this is not the first time I'm thinking about this. I already have some notes on where I want to start. And now I would start. I would go away from my to-do list and just do the work. So after doing my research work, it seems I'm satisfied that I've done it, so I check that off. After that time, I will have new tasks coming up. So while I was reading this, there were a few new things. I learned new things. So I just wrote them down somewhere. And in this mode of working, so when you're really in it, you're researching, you're finding out new things, you're doing something, it doesn't matter. It's not about beauty, okay? So you can write it down in whatever way. And some of the things that I write down as a task might later turn into a note, or things that I'm just putting into a note might later turn into a task. That doesn't matter. You also see these tasks don't have these properties here attached. I didn't care about that. I just added them in the box just because it's close to what I'm doing anyway. And I know I have to clean them up later. But for now, that's fine. Just put it in here so I don't forget it. And that's the point of this. So being quick is really important. A to-do list doesn't help you if it's like hard to access, if it's hard to use, if you need a lot of time to put things in, or you have to comply to a certain format. Then you won't use it. You have to be quick, because when you're doing this work, like I was reading up on service workers, I don't want to always switch into, oh, now I have to do a documentation thing. No, I just want to get this out of my head so that I can go on reading and learn the things that I need to later do the work, really. So maybe at noon I might clean up this list a little bit, or maybe I would wait until the end of the day. Another thing about when to do something is also pretty interesting in my case. So the question is whether you keep or delete finished tasks right away. So when I was working with a note-taking tool, I would always keep my checked tasks forever until the end of the day. So at the end of the day, I could look back and say, oh, that's what I achieved today. Great. Funnily, with todoListo, this has changed. So in todoListo, as soon as I've checked something, I will hit this button and just get rid of those tasks. I actually don't know why I changed this. Maybe my habit will change back into keeping the checked tasks or not. I don't know. But yeah, this is personal style. So do whatever you like. So at the end of the day, my list might look something like this. So it's not a lot shorter than in the morning. In the morning I had 6 tasks, now I have 5. Great. But it's different tasks and they might be smaller. So I've learned something, but still it's 5 tasks that I need to do something with. So yeah, what can I do? What I would do if I did not have planned through the rest of the week. So tomorrow is also like 10 tasks. This is also too much. I won't be able to do all of this. Same here, looks like a lot. So if I had fewer tasks for tomorrow, what I would do is I would just take them all and put them into tomorrow. But since this doesn't work, I would see like, okay, where do I have some time left? So maybe I would even go over here and see like, okay, this week is absolutely full. I don't want to work in my vacation. Even this week is pretty full already. So in this case, I would probably just move it into September. Just say, okay, sometime in September I might find time to do these things. This is not ideal. So you see, this is already at a kind of borderline. I was already having quite a few things to do. But okay, so at least the tasks are gone. I finished my day. I know these things will be done at some point. And tomorrow I can start with a new day. And that's it. So this is how I work with my to-do list. This has been working well for really years, having a lot to do, not so much to do. And the main point is to see your tasks as something dynamic. And so this is also why I cannot work with a to-do list on paper, because I cannot change it. There are always tasks coming up that I didn't expect. Tasks change by themselves. So something might turn out as being bigger than I thought, and then from one task you will get 10 new ones. Some tasks actually resolve themselves. That's the good ones. And also the order how you want to do them will change. And this is why I recommend to use some kind of electronic tool, so you can change your tasks very quickly. Also, of course, add new ones, as we've seen before. Add things, change things, delete things, merge tasks, anything that you need to do. And going with this kind of dynamics, I recommend not to plan too fine granular into the future. So 1 week or at most 2 weeks, you can be pretty clear, like really on a task level. The more you go into the future, the less you can plan. There will be more tasks, things will have changed. So for those things, really just have a very rough plan of what's going to happen. I hope these tips help you a little bit. We've seen also in this example that sometimes it's a bit rough, more rough. So I will show you in other videos how I deal with a situation when I need a bit more overview, or when it's just too many things to do and this just moving things to the next day won't work anymore. So hope to see you next time. Hasta luego.